Hello, I'm Antonio Mora. This is the newsandnews.com Day in Brief. Today's top stories in 4 minutes. It's Tuesday, August 14th at 6:30 p.m. I could barely make my fingers type this Day in Brief today because my case of Trump fatigue syndrome has taken a serious turn for the worse. It's not just about Trump. It's Omarosa, Sarah Sanders, and all the players in the DC soap opera, including the cast of characters on outraged cable TV whose collective noise seemed to keep getting louder even as I tried to turn down the volume on my TV set. I'm not making light of any of this. On the contrary, we're talking about the people who should be governing the United States for the benefit of its more than 300 million people, and the media that should be responsibly reporting on that government. Instead, we get drama. That government and that media spent most of the day discussing the use by the President of the United States of the word dog to attack an African American woman. I have never cared for Omarosa, but who calls any woman a dog? And given his long documented issues with African Americans, why would Trump feed fuel to those who accuse him of being a racist? Imagine the world we've come to, where those defending the president are doing so by saying that he's an equal opportunity offender, that he's called a lot of white guys dogs. It's easy to understand the temptation to respond. If someone accused me of being a racist, saying that I'm not in my right mind and unfit to do my job, as Omarosa has said of Trump, I'd be tempted to lash out, and I'd have every right to do so. But if Omarosa is, quote, a lying lowlife, why give her insults more publicity and increase the shelf life of her story? The book isn't even selling that well. If I were the press agent for the memoir, Trump would be my favorite person. Last point on this, the Trump campaign sued Omarosa for millions for violating non-disclosure agreements. Oh, and Trump did insult white guys just today. Not only fired FBI agent Peter Strzok, but he again shamed Jeff Sessions, saying that, quote, if we had a real attorney general, there would be no Russia investigation. Meanwhile, the Manafort defense team did not call their client to the stand. In fact, Manafort's lawyers didn't call any witnesses. Yet to be seen is what all of this means for the Russia probe. Another suspected terrorist used his car to attack pedestrians and cyclists outside the Houses of Parliament in London. Fortunately, only 3 people suffered minor injuries. Much less fortunate were dozens of people who were driving on an elevated highway in Genoa, Italy, when a stretch of more than 200 yards came crashing down. Incredibly, some people were pulled alive from the rubble, but more than 30 are dead. And a scathing grand jury report accuses 301 priests in Pennsylvania of sexually abusing more than 1,000 children. Shame on those priests and the hierarchy that protected them. In our daily alternate universes segment, The Great Divide Between Conservative and Liberal Media, I laughed out loud this morning when I heard an old friend, CNN's John Berman, say, quote, we're careful about chasing what the president writes on Twitter for a lot of reasons. Who exactly is careful about reporting on Trump's tweets? As anyone who watches cable news will know, that is as blatant a misrepresentation of reality as what CNN regularly refers to as lies from the Trump administration. Liberal networks jump on any tweet that shows Trump in a bad light, while conservative channels avoid them. John's comment is another example of the incredible lack of self-awareness among many journalists today. Can anyone seriously argue that Trump's tweets aren't covered and discussed ad nauseum? And I hate to say it, they should be. Many times, Trump's Twitter pronouncements have been acknowledged as official statements of policy. Also, when the President of the United States demeans the office by getting into a childish feud, trading insults with a former reality TV star, it's news, regardless of the substance of what they're fighting about. Today's tweet raised significant issues. So while Trump tweets and his White House recognizes those tweets as important, the media has no choice but to keep covering them, like it or not. You can find all those stories and much more updated around the clock 7 days a week on newsandnews.com, where you will find all you need to know in one place. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking on the right of your screen right below this video, and please follow us on Facebook at Real News and News, and follow me on Twitter at AMoraTV. I'll see you again tomorrow.